Share tomorrow and ever. Love you.
I've been wanting to do a Chick-fil-A cake for the longest. Initially, I thought that it was going to be the chicken sandwich cake. However, I already did the Popeyes inspired cake. A special person asked me to make a Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets cake with cheddar cheese sauce, Chick-fil-A sauce, waffle fries, and an Oreo cookies and cream milkshake with a cherry on top. Initially, I was frozen just like this for a really long time. I can do it. I've done things like this before. I'm pretty much gonna break these in the segment that I would typically eat my Chick-fil-A. And what's the first thing that you see when you open up the bag? It's that hot carton of waffle fries on top. You grab one from the bag because you want to eat the waffle fries while they're still hot. This is fact. I don't make this up. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Press on the notification bell and then let's get started. I'm starting out with a light beige colored fondant. I just rolled it into a bunch of small logs and I'm going to cut them between 2 and 3 inches. We're going to create grids out of our fondant. I'm lining 5 of them up and then I'm going to cross 5 more or 4, that's acceptable as well, right on top of that. And you can make a couple of them on the end shorter as long as the ones in the center are the longest ones. And then waffle fries are typically in oval shape, not necessarily a perfectly round circle. So I'm going to use a knife to trim off the edges and create that oval shape. You can see where I'm going with this, right? And you can make the fondant thicker than this if you would like, a husky waffle fry. You don't want to go too thin. If you want to make larger waffle fries, of course, you could use thicker logs. This is one of those situations where you just have to study the product. I recommend that you go out and buy a bag of Chick-fil-A and just study the fry. You may have to eat it. It's just for the sake of cake decorating. That's all it is. Whatever you need to do to make a beautiful cake. I let those sit out for about an hour so that they would dry. They dried fairly fast. And now I'm going to take some brown gel dye and a little bit of vodka. And then I'm going to lightly brush the tips of my little waffle fries. It looks like it was freshly cut from a russet potato.
Handmade here on the premises from the MarishasCoutureCakes factory.
And this is what's really going to help those fries look realistic. So once I let that dry for a couple of minutes, then I went in with more gel dye. This is yellow and brown gel dye mixed with vodka. Put that in my airbrush machine and I'm going to lightly coat my waffle fries in this yellow-brown color. And this is going to make them look like they are fresh out of the fryer with a nice golden, crispy outer side. Outer side? Who says outer side? Outside. Once that dries for a couple of minutes, go ahead, flip them over because it makes no sense to have one side of your fries looking completely raw and then the other side looking perfect. So we're going to flip those over. I love the shading that it left on that piece of paper. Now we're going to move on to the actual cake. Now I have 2 rectangle vanilla cakes and I'm going to level them off. They were odd shaped because I had to use foil in a square cake pan to make a new cake pan because I didn't want to have so many cake scraps. I'm going to put some vanilla frosting right in the center of those 2 layers. And honestly, I am pretty much freestyling this cake. There are so many different shapes of French fry containers, and Chick-fil-A does have their own specific style of container. You're gonna see me do a few things in this. I definitely want to trim the edges of the cake. You see, I started to make a curved slice on the top. I decided not to go all the way through with that cut, just so that I could see if that's exactly where I wanted to make the cut. And it wasn't. Their container has a inward shape at the base, and then it's wider at the top. So I'm going to create that look. It's kind of like a coffin shape. And then at the top, I decided that I would go back and make my curved edge, and that's going to be the top of the French fry container. So we're just going to act like that first one doesn't even exist. This is when all of the frosting counts. I will take the cake scraps and scoop that frosting right out and use it on the cake, because why am I throwing away my frosting? And that's how I feel. So I'm going to cover the whole cake in my vanilla bean frosting, and then once I have the whole cake covered, I'm going to pop it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. Now that it is nice and hard, I'm gonna cover the whole cake in my red fondant. It took so much red to make this red. It's ridiculous. Smooth it out with my fondant smoothers. I actually did end up cutting the cake further off camera, and where that line is right there, that is where I cut the cake. I felt like it was a little bit too long, so I actually cut about 2.5 inches off of the bottom, and I replaced that with another piece of red fondant. Once I have it all smooth, I'm going to lay a red piece of fondant on my cake board and then put my cake right on top. And that's how I'm going to create the back of the French fry container. So I'm just going to cut it off while it's still on the board. And then they do have some indentations where the cardboard folds. You can create that with the back of a knife or a ruler. Now comes the best part. So you're going to wet the inside of that carton so that your fries actually stick to the fondant. Fill her up, and then whatever you have extra, you can just lay it onto the cake board. This is like a large for sure. I did finish the cake off with a Chick-fil-A emblem. It was very easy to make. It's 1 log of fondant, and then I took 4 dots of fondant, made the top of the rooster head, and then I just quickly made a beak and an eye. I hope that I made you hungry. I hope that your stomach is growling right now, because that means that I did my job. Couture and a Chick-fil-A waffle fries cake. Bye guys. The cake Nisa comment of the day is gonna go to Angel Orugbo? Miss Angel. I think she commented this on the peach cookies. If you did a cake room or kitchen tour with all your supplies, it would be so much fun to watch. Angel, I'm so happy that you said that, because I've been wanting to do that for the longest. I've literally been organizing just for that purpose, but it's still a hot mess. So I feel like, if anything, I plan on moving this October, and then I'm gonna take you guys to like move with me. I need new containers, because those dyes, they spill over time, the containers crack. You're like, how is this even leaking? I've got the rainbow just spilled out in the bottom of some of those dye containers of mine. It's just a mess. So that is it for this video. Remember to follow me on social media at Marishas_Couture_Cakes or at Marishas_Couture if you want to see my desserts and my food and a little bit of me. Facebook.com/MarishasCoutureCakes. Remember to share this video and like it. And yeah, while you're here, drop a comment. Just say hello. See you guys in the next Oreo shake video. Bye, Cake Nistas. Anytime.